The studio was calm. Coffee, cameras, and the kind of routine takes you scroll past, until one line turned the whole set into a pressure cooker. Rex Ryan didn't nibble at the issue. He lobbed a blunt, old-school scolding that read like a film room sermon. A public call for humility and a blunt demand that the rookie get your ass in the front row and study. For some, that sounded like straight coaching. For others, it felt like an unnecessary public dressing down. That contrast is the spark. What made it blow up wasn't just the words. It was a single, silent gesture captured after practice. A slow mime that, because of a famous last name, detonated into everything. The clip landed on timelines and exploded into two camps: people who cheered the swagger and people who read it as disrespect. In seconds, a private moment became national conversation, and the debate stopped being about technique and started being about identity. Then, Michael Irvin stepped in and flipped the script. He didn't offer a calm rebuttal, he erupted, leaning on the credibility of someone who actually played the game. Irvin argued that swagger fuels legends, that confidence is currency, and that what looks like arrogance through one lens is simply ownership through another. His delivery mattered. Raw, live authority turned a TV spat into a cultural sermon, and that energy made clips of his rant impossible to ignore. The backlash and support flooded social feeds. Family members and former players weighed in, memes multiplied, and the controversy became free promotion for the player at the center of it all. Rumors about locker room dynamics and decision-making popped up too. Treat those as whispers until teams confirmed them. But the headline was clear. In the modern NFL, personality is part of the product. So what did we watch? A coaching critique or a generational clash over how athletes express themselves? That's the question the internet is still arguing. Which side are you on? The call for old-school discipline or the defense of unapologetic confidence? Drop your take below, hit like if the drama gripped you, and subscribe for more tight breakdowns of moments that echo long after the cameras turn off. The tension started with just a few words, but they landed like a thunderclap across every NFL debate show. Rex Ryan's line wasn't a casual critique. It was a straight, old-school strike at what he sees as the missing backbone in modern football. Sitting there with that trademark scowl, he didn't sugarcoat it. He told the young quarterback to get your ass in the front row and learn. And for a split second, you could almost feel the air leave the room. It wasn't polished media talk or analyst lingo. It was raw, locker room honesty. The kind that used to stay behind closed doors. To Rex, this wasn't about personality or image. It was about respect for the grind. He comes from an era where rookies earned their voice through sweat, not social clips or family fame. That's why his words hit harder. They came from a coach who's lived through every kind of player. The ones who listen and the ones who think they already know. And in his mind, the line between confidence and entitlement has blurred too much in today's game. But the way he said it, fiery, public, unfiltered, is what lit the match. Some fans applauded it, calling it real football talk. Others thought it crossed a line, accusing Rex of clinging to a past that doesn't fit the modern athlete. Then came the viral moment, a subtle, smirking gesture from the rookie himself that fans instantly turned into a meme. To some, it was swagger. To others, it was defiance. Either way, it poured gasoline on an already burning debate. What happened next was almost poetic. Michael Irvin, emotional as ever, jumped in swinging on live TV. He didn't defend arrogance, he defended belief. "That's what greatness looks like," he shouted. "You don't dim your light for anyone." Suddenly, it wasn't just about Rex's coaching style. It was about a generational divide, old school discipline versus new school identity. And that's what keeps this story alive. Was Rex simply speaking truth to a young player who needed it? Or was he out of touch with how stars are built today? Either way, one thing's clear. His words didn't just coach a quarterback. They exposed a culture clash that's reshaping the modern NFL. It started with silence. No words, no outburst, just a gesture that spoke louder than anything said all season. Cameras caught it in the corner of the frame. A smirk, a slow shrug, maybe a hint of sarcasm. In another context, it's nothing. Athletes do this kind of thing every day. But when your last name carries weight, that tiny motion becomes a headline. Within hours, the clip went viral, dissected, slowed down, captioned, and turned into a full-blown cultural argument. That was the mime that lit the fuse. What made it explode wasn't just what happened, it was who did it. Being the son of a legend or part of a football dynasty comes with a built-in spotlight. Every action, even a flick of the wrist, is amplified 100 times over. To some fans, it was harmless swagger, a young athlete showing confidence in a tough moment. But to others, it was arrogance, disrespect, a symbol of everything wrong with the new generation of players who they say haven't earned it yet. Suddenly, that moment wasn't just about one player. It became about legacy versus individuality. Sports talk shows ran it non-stop. Analysts debated intent, teammates were asked for reactions, and fans took sides in the comments. Some said he was standing up for himself, refusing to be humbled just because of his last name. Others claimed he was using that name as armor, untouchable because of who his father is. And that's where the tension lives. The mime wasn't just a reaction. It was a spark that exposed how uncomfortable people still are with confident youth in a legacy shadow. In a league built on control and image, 1 second of silent defiance was enough to shift an entire narrative. Was it cocky? Was it confident? Or was it a son refusing to let the ghost of his father define him? Whatever it was, it proved one thing. Sometimes the quietest gestures make the loudest noise. It happened in seconds, a flash of emotion that turned an already heated debate into a full-blown storm. When Michael Irvin finally fired back, it wasn't just another sports take. It was a moment. His voice cracked with frustration, his tone sharp but controlled. He didn't just defend, he challenged. "You can't question that man's drive," he snapped, his words cutting through the noise like a lightning bolt. And instantly, the entire room shifted. For days, the media had been circling the same story, repeating narratives, recycling opinions, building the drama around Shedeur Sanders and the Brown saga. But Irvin's response shattered that loop. He wasn't there to play diplomat or protect anyone's image. He was there to remind everyone what competition and legacy really mean. "You don't get to that stage by accident," he said, eyes locked forward. "You don't put up those numbers if you're not built for it." It wasn't rehearsed, and that's exactly why it hit so hard. Raw honesty in a world built on polished statements. The internet reacted instantly. Clips of Irvin's outburst flooded timelines, fans quoting his words like gospel, while critics called it emotional bias. But even his biggest doubters couldn't deny the passion behind it. It wasn't just about Shedeur anymore. It was about respect, about the way athletes are judged before they even get a chance to prove themselves. And that's what changed the narrative. Before Irvin spoke, the story was about a young quarterback under fire. After he spoke, it became about perspective, how quickly people forget that greatness doesn't grow without pressure. His words didn't just defend, they reframed. He took a controversy and turned it into a conversation about resilience, legacy, and unfair expectations. In the end, it wasn't a press release or a PR statement that shifted public opinion. It was one man's unfiltered conviction, a voice of experience refusing to let noise drown out truth. Irvin didn't just react, he reclaimed the moment. And in doing so, he reminded everyone why his words still carry the weight of fire. The double standards hit fast, and they hit hard. The moment the clip spread, people didn't just watch, they judged. Suddenly, the same fans who cheered swagger in their favorite players were calling this disrespect. The same media voices that once celebrated confidence were now calling it cockiness. That's when the real hypocrisy surfaced, and everyone could see it. When veterans do it, it's leadership. When rookies do it, it's immaturity. And when it's the son of a legend, it becomes entitlement. The fallout was immediate. Social media turned into a war zone of takes and countertakes. Hashtags trended, memes flooded timelines, and fan pages argued over every slow-motion replay. Some fans rallied to defend him, pointing out that athletes are constantly told to play with heart until they actually show emotion. Others doubled down, saying the move embarrassed the team, the family, and even the legacy. But what made it sting deeper was how quickly the conversation shifted from the game itself to his bloodline. Even his family couldn't escape the fire. Rumors suggest his father was caught off guard, that he didn't see it coming, but stood by him privately, saying nothing publicly to avoid fanning the flames. Meanwhile, insiders claimed close relatives wanted him to issue a statement to clear the air. But he didn't. He stayed silent. And that silence said more than any apology ever could. It was defiance, quiet but deliberate. Within hours, sports shows turned the gesture into a week-long talking point. Analysts broke it down like film study, debating intent, body language, even facial expressions. But behind all the noise, one question kept echoing. Why is confidence only acceptable when it fits someone else's mold? The clip didn't just go viral, it exposed how selective people are about what they call respect. And as that debate grew, so did his image. No longer just the son of a legend, but a player unafraid to draw his own line, even if it meant standing alone. In the end, this story became bigger than football. It turned into a mirror, reflecting how we see legacy, confidence, and individuality. What started as a single moment, a silent gesture, a smirk, a shrug, grew into something that questioned the culture surrounding young athletes. Why is it that when a rookie shows swagger, it's disrespect, but when a veteran does the same thing, it's passion? Why do we demand confidence from players and then tear them down when they finally show it? For Shedeur, this wasn't just about proving he could play. It was about proving he could stand on his own name. Not his father's, not his family's, but his own. And whether you love or hate how he handled it, one thing's undeniable. He made people pay attention. He forced the conversation. He challenged a system that often celebrates individuality until it becomes inconvenient. As the noise fades, what remains is a bigger question, one that stretches far beyond the Browns, beyond the headlines, beyond the memes. Are we witnessing the rise of a new kind of athlete? One who doesn't ask for permission to be confident, one who embraces pressure instead of running from it. Or are we just watching history repeat itself, with every new generation fighting to be understood? Maybe that's the real story here. Not the controversy, not the backlash, but the evolution of the modern athlete. Players today aren't just fighting opponents on the field. They're battling public perception off it. Every move, every look, every word gets magnified until it becomes something else entirely. So now, it's over to you. Was this confidence or cockiness? A statement or a mistake? In a world that celebrates authenticity but punishes imperfection, where do you draw the line? Drop your thoughts below, because this debate isn't over. It's just getting started.